Welcome to News Today with Universal Parks News Today. I'm Tom Corliss. Here now the news for September 26th, 2024. The National Hurricane Center has issued a new update confirming that Tropical Storm Helene has strengthened into Hurricane Helene and expected to hit Florida as a major Category 3 hurricane. So just want to note that we did record this show on Wednesday. This is going to be released on Thursday. And so if you want the absolute latest on what's going on with Hurricane Helene and how that relates to operations at Universal Orlando, you're going to want to go to our website for the absolute latest and check our social media. At the time of recording, Halloween Horror Nights is still happening. Was still happening on Wednesday. It still was scheduled for Thursday at the time of recording. But as with these things, there will be 8 updates between the time we record and the time we edit the show, even if we film it on the same day. So keep that in mind. Obviously, we do believe some things will be affected on Thursday. The general belief and what the parks have said is that Friday they will be unaffected. On Thursday, Volcano Bay will not be open at Universal. But otherwise, at the time of recording, no other operational impacts have been implicated. And again, they seem to think that Volcano Bay and all normal operations will be back by Friday, but things, as unpredictable as a hurricane can be, things are subject to change, so stay tuned. Aerial photographer BioReconstruct shared new snaps of the Epic Universe construction site this week, including photos of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, uncovered on Hiccup's wing gliders, and Yoshi spotted on Mount Beanpole, and more. BioReconstruct initially caught Toothless at Hiccup's winged gliders in our last report, but wasn't able to get a better photo until this week. This incredible shot shows how detailed the figure is. It appears his giant paw rests on a button. Perhaps he'll be launching us into the sky on that attraction. Bio also spotted Yoshi on Mount Beanpole in Super Nintendo World. This is just to clarify, the top of the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk portal can be seen to Yoshi's left. That looks out of place as if that's not a Nintendo thing. It's because it isn't. This, of course, we've seen 2 Super Nintendo Worlds already, so we know this is the Yoshi that'll kind of march around the apple tree on top of Mount Beanpole. He'll be animated. There is a lot more in this update. You can read it all at universalparksnewstoday.com. Also, Bio was very sweet and sent us a video of one of his last aerial flights over the park. You can watch that right here on our channel. Bio's the best. We love Bio. Character standees have been added outside of some of the golden archways at the Epic Universe Preview Center in Universal CityWalk Orlando. The Epic Universe Preview Center opened in June, taking over the space formerly occupied by the Universal Legacy Store. We provided a full tour of the location shortly after it opened. You can watch it here on the channel. When the center opened, golden archways, such as the one you're looking at now, were installed for each of the lands coming to Epic Universe. Each portal has a representative medallion at the top above the concept art that gives us an idea of what the land will look like when it opens. Changes have since been made. On a recent visit, we discovered that there are new additions outside some of the portals. A large Frankenstein standee has been added next to Dark Universe. He wears black pants and a black blazer. The blazer is open, revealing his scarred torso, and he grimaces with his hands to his side. Frankenstein Manor will be the host of the new dark ride titled Monsters Unchained, The Frankenstein Experiment. Recently, BioReconstruct snapped photos of the construction of the manor in Dark Universe and the rest of Dark Universe as well. Frankenstein isn't the only character now appearing in the Preview Center. Here you see Toothless glaring at guests in front of How to Train Your Dragon, the Isle of Berk's archway. The dragon will appear again on the family coaster Hiccup's wing gliders. Mario is greeting guests outside of the Super Nintendo World Arch. Mario will be available for meet and greets when the location opens sometime next year. Last but certainly not least, a Niffler sits inside of an open suitcase outside of the archway for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. The suitcase holding the Niffler sits on top of 5 other worn-out suitcases. Of course, earlier this month, Universal shared a look inside the queue for Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, which we showcased on the last episode of this show. So continuing to update the Preview Center, even with just what we believe is under a year to go until Epic Universe opens, but who knows? Universal Orlando Resort has new Epic Universe reusable bags that are available for you to purchase at the Preview Center in CityWalk. There are 2 bag sizes, small and large, and both feature the same artwork. The small bag is $3, the large bag is $4. The bags feature the Epic Universe logo, which is a golden porthole with a starry sky behind it and Universal Epic Universe across the center. The logo is set against a sky gradient of black to blue to yellow with a sunset over the clouds. It has 2 yellow handles, and the sides are also yellow, and circles and stars on the sides and the handles reflect the celestial symbology of Epic Universe. The top of the bag has a yellow zipper, but note that the plastic fabric around the zipper doesn't completely cover the top of the bag, so it is not waterproof during a Florida shower. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guests and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. The best part is their concierge services are 100% free, so head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and the team will design your next epic vacation from the Universal Parks to the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts, the Disney Cruise Line, Virgin Voyages, Royal Caribbean, and more. The giant elevated traffic circle near Universal's Epic Universe has begun to take shape, with Universal hoping the road improvements will improve traffic flow from other theme parks. Earlier this month, BioReconstruct shared photos of the Orlando traffic circle under construction. The large raised circle is part of road improvements and an extension of Kirkman Road, State Road 435, I should say, creating an easier connection between Epic Universe and the rest of Universal Orlando Resort. TikTok user @StreetCraft shared a video breaking down the use of the traffic circle and the road improvements and how unique the circle is. Changes to Kirkman 435 include simplifying its intersection with West Sand Lake Road. 435 is then extended to the south, where it will have bus lanes in between the car lanes, similar to what Disney Springs, during the Disney Springs project they did this. These are still in use, obviously. Guests will use the traffic circle to access Epic Universe via car, and resort buses will use it to access bus-only lanes between the new park and the rest of the resort. With this traffic circle, it appears that travel times could become more consistent, and navigating traffic will be a smoother experience, whether going to Epic Universe by car or by bus. Universal also hopes that this unique circular overpass will become an iconic regional landmark due to the unique shape and height above the other roadways below. Construction of the road and traffic circle is expected to be completed later this year. Epic Universe, of course, will open in 2025 at some point. We don't know exactly when. What I think is going to be comical is I suspect the traffic below will still be bad, because it's just always going to be a bad area. The nice thing is if you're traveling to Universal destinations between those, it will not impact your vacation. But if you live in Orlando or are going elsewhere, like the rest of us, I think you're still going to hit some traffic. Universal Orlando Resort has announced that the Universal Studios store in CityWalk will expand to include 2 new areas in 2025, featuring the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Super Nintendo World. The new Harry Potter section of the store will include merchandise from all 3 lands, being Hogsmeade, Diagon Alley, and the Ministry of Magic at Epic Universe. Butterbeer in its 3 forms, cold, hot, and frozen, will also be sold there outside the parks. The Super Nintendo World section of the store will have its own dedicated entrance in CityWalk and offer merchandise for the Epic Universe land. This expansion will likely be housed in the former Cinnabon and Quiet Flight spaces, which closed back in April. Demolition began in May, and we last reported on its construction with limited updates since back in July. There hasn't been a whole lot going on, at least that you can see, but this has still not been confirmed at this time, but it is highly likely. The Halloween Horror Nights Wolfman photo op at Universal Studios Florida has been replaced with a generic HHN backdrop. The Wolfman photo op was located in the park's San Francisco area near the Enter the Blumhouse Scare Zone. Blumhouse is producing the upcoming film, that's why it was there. The setup featured a backdrop with a farmhouse at night, several plants, shovels, a wheelbarrow, and a no trespassing sign. The Wolfman appeared as a meet and greet character for 1 night only at this stage, but did not return. It's unclear if the negative guest reaction was the cause for his removal. People did not like the costume. The photo op has been replaced now by a spacey purple and teal Halloween Horror Nights backdrop. It features artwork of a monstrous version of the USF entrance, which is also featured on other HHN imagery and merchandise. After the art's design became popular in online communities, fans nicknamed it Otis, which was adopted by Universal as the official nickname, and a drink was even named the Eye of Otis in its honor. A new Halloween-themed annual Passholder magnet is coming to Universal Orlando Resort in October. The magnet has a black border with bat eyes in the bottom left corner. The U is in green and features stitching, and the O is a jack-o'-lantern with a safety pin sticking out of the top of its head. The A is purple and the P is yellow, and the letters sit above Passholder. The O in Passholder has a 24 in it, There's also a yellow skull, a red lightning bolt, and 2024 in Roman numerals in white. The new magnet will be available from October 1st through November 3rd. Guests can pick it up at either Toon Lagoon in Universal's Islands of Adventure from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily, or at the Five and Dime in Hollywood in Universal Studios Florida from park open to park close. DreamWorks Land at Universal Studios Florida has a new set of bao buns inspired by Po from Kung Fu Panda. Po's Kung Fu Bao is on the menu at DreamWorks Imagination Cafe. It includes 2 steamed buns, one filled with char siu pork and the other filled with chicken teriyaki. Po's Kung Fu Bao is $13.99. You can read the review on our website or watch it on TikTok. Nana did a great job. Rumors indicate that Universal Creative is currently developing plans that will replace Marvel Superhero Island at Islands of Adventure. Marvel Superhero Island opened with the park in 1999. At the time, Marvel was nowhere near as hot of a commodity as it is now. Universal struck a deal for the theme park rights that includes any characters in the families of characters represented in the land, which would be the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. That does include a lot of characters, though. The contract, which is available to read in full online, gives Universal the exclusive theme park rights to those characters and the Marvel branding east of the Mississippi and lasts in perpetuity as long as Universal is utilizing the property according to the quality terms set in the contract. In 2009, the Walt Disney Company, of course, purchased Marvel, including the comics and film studio. Due to the terms of the original contract, the agreement with Universal was unaffected by the purchase. However, it now meant that money that Universal was paying to Marvel was actually going to their biggest theme park competitor. Disney has since added Marvel attractions to their theme parks around the world and cruise ships, with the notable exception of Walt Disney World at first. Of course, until 2012, the resort remained devoid of Marvel-related anything. After that, there were Marvel monorail wraps. There was a Doctor Strange show for a moment. But the biggest development was, of course, the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot in 2022, which is permissible within the terms of the agreement because the Guardians do not appear at Islands of Adventure. They're also not considered part of the Avengers, the X-Men, or the Fantastic Four families. If Universal does replace Marvel Superhero Island and has no Marvel universe within the park, the contract is terminated. They will no longer have the theme park rights to any Marvel property. This would allow Disney World to add more Marvel if they so desired. Right now, the possibilities are wide open. Of course, originally it wasn't even going to be a Marvel land. It was going to be Batman themed. But Universal also has many properties of its own that could be used to avoid other licensing agreements with companies. To let you know, the general belief is Simpsons is going to become Pokemon. Some people thought Marvel might become Pokemon because it's believed that Spider-Man, which just closed at Universal Studios Japan when that contract expired, is going to become the Pikachu attraction. It's going to use that ride system, so it made sense. Like maybe they just do that at Marvel Superhero Island, but generally people believe that Simpsons is becoming Pokemon. But who knows at this point? All we know is we've been told specifically by very, very trustworthy sources that they have started to draw plans for what will replace Marvel Superhero Island. Of course, these rumors have existed since 2009. You commenting underneath wherever that, oh, I've heard this a million times. Yeah, well, you've heard it a million times. You haven't heard it from us a million times, though. So, look, I think there's a couple of possibilities here. I think number one, somewhere maybe Comcast is ready to reach an agreement with Disney. Maybe there's going to be some money exchanged or property exchanged or something's going to happen. Or Comcast is just tired of giving money to their competitor or promoting the content from their competitor, right? I mean, Comcast is a mega corporation that I'm sure likes to promote things that further their streaming service and the success of their studio. So it is weird that they continue to promote those of a studio they do not work with. Obviously, there are plenty of licensed properties at Universal Orlando, whether it's Harry Potter, Nintendo, or whatever, but they do work with those brands in some way, right? You can watch, you can watch Harry Potter content on Peacock. There's stuff that exists there, and they've had a strong agreement for a very long time. And obviously, Universal is making Nintendo movies now. They made the Super Mario Brothers movie, and there are more on the way. So it makes sense in a lot of respects. So whatever the reasoning may be, this is the rumor now. We'll let you know more when we know more. But they are just starting to drop the plan, so this is probably still a couple years away. Simpsons at this point is still a couple of years away. We don't expect that to close tomorrow, but probably in the not too distant future. But I would suspect that further on is Marvel Superhero Island, but they're at least getting ready to get rid of it. Universal has announced new offerings inspired by the film adaptation of Wicked are coming to both Universal Orlando and Universal Studios Hollywood. Offerings will be different at both the Florida and California locations, but both are designed to capture the imagination and spirit of the breathtaking world of Wicked, said Universal. In late October, Universal Orlando will open Wicked the Experience, which will be located in the former Universe and Hello Kitty store at Universal Studios Florida. The store closed earlier this month. With this experience, guests will be able to step into the fantastical land of Oz, traveling along the Yellow Brick Road into a variety of locations from the film, including Shiz University and the Emerald City. Costumes and props created by the film's designers will be on display, alongside scenic design and theming to recreate some of the most memorable moments of the film. Also in late October on the West Coast, Universal Studios Hollywood will transform its feature presentation store within the park and the Universe store in CityWalk into experiences inspired by the film. Feature presentation will house props from the film, a photo op will debut inside the park, and later, once Wicked opens in theaters, costumes will be on display within the Universal Cinema at Universal CityWalk. According to the press release, fantabulous themed dining will complement these exciting Wicked experiences. Voodoo Donuts and the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen at both Universal CityWalk locations will get limited time treats inspired by the film. New merchandise will also be available to celebrate the film, including apparel, home goods, accessories, toys, and more. There will be exclusive products found at Universal Orlando Resort, Universal Studios Hollywood, and both the Universal CityWalk locations, which include the Shiz University collection inspired by the school where Glinda and Elphaba first meet. Items include a spirit jersey, duffel bag, tumbler, hat, journal, and more. A collection from Studio Minalima features exclusive Wicked-inspired graphics and prints across several item types, including an all-over print on apparel, accessories, home goods, and confections, as well as stationery. For those just looking for a more simple look, the Wicked logo will also be present on merchandise from hats and totes to apparel and more. Other products that will be available include fashion dolls from Mattel, Funko Pops, Lego sets, Loungefly bags, and cosplay and prop replicas from the Noble Collection. In addition, more Wicked offerings will be coming to Universal Studios Singapore and Universal Studios Japan later this year and in early 2025. The funny part of that is Universal Studios Japan used to have a land themed to Wicked and a sort of like half of the musical show that used to play in a big theater there. That was turned into Wonderland several years ago, which is the kids area with Snoopy and Hello Kitty and Sesame Street characters. Wicked, the first part of the two-part duology of films, will hit theaters on November 22nd. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. For more information on these stories and more, head on over to universalparksnewstoday.com. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Universal Parks News Today on YouTube for more great content, and click the bell for notifications. Also, make sure you hit select all notifications so you never miss an episode of the show. For UPNT, this is Tom Corliss saying the future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one.